Hey you guys. Okay, it is Micah. I'm freezing. I told you guys I'd do a quick STIM training, so that's what I'm going to do. And I wanted to be able to share my screen, so that's why I'm going to just record it, share it with you guys. Basically, the thing with STIM is you have to get super good at knowing who you want to target, okay? And then you have to set your settings so that it limits certain things and whatever. So I'm going to just screen share. I'm going to show you mine, and then you can go in, open up yours, change your settings, and then it's up to you to get super focused on the hashtags and the targeted accounts. So we're going to talk about that, okay? So let me share this with you. First of all, I have the Pro. I have the $40 version because I love that it sends a DM to new followers, so I don't have to do that. Plant, set, initial seed, and then gets the building relationship part going. So let me just share. Hopefully you guys can see this. Okay, so this is my STIM. I just went stimsocial.com, logged in. It's easier to do this on the computer, so I would recommend doing that. You can do it on your phone, okay? So here's the dashboard. This shows you everything that's going on. Your targets. Okay, so let's talk about this. I have 44 target accounts, okay? And I don't want you guys, I'm gonna click out of it because I don't want you guys to just be like, oh, this is who Micah's targeting, so I'm gonna target them, because we don't all wanna be targeting the same people, okay? So when it comes to your target accounts, this is the most important aspect of your STIM social. The most important, okay? I recommend having anywhere between 5 and, like you saw, I think I have like 40 right now. Because I just consistently add new target accounts as I find them as I'm working each day. So if I find a solid one, I'll go in and add it in. As I see one that's not performing well, I'll take it off. So this is a constant ebb and flow, like it gives and takes, and you have to constantly be tweaking it. It's not something you set up once and then you just let go, okay? So as far as the targeted accounts go, what STIM Social is doing, and you guys, this is just what I've learned. I'm not like a STIM Social pro, but it's working for me. And all I did was I went to the tutorial. Imagine that, you guys. There's a question mark right here that says tutorial. I went and I learned all of the things, okay? So it tells you exactly what is going on. There's other questions. Where is it? Okay, if you go to, maybe it's this, maybe it's not. If you go to support how STIM works using the system, like you guys, legitimately, I just took time to actually learn how to get started. Pro tips, like this is all I did to learn, and then I've tweaked. So if you haven't taken time to go to the pro tips, pro tip number 1 for hashtags, we recommend only using 1 to 5 hashtags. You guys, I don't know how many of my coaches I've talked to, and you're like, oh, I had like 95 in there. And I'm like, okay. And you wonder why you're getting like 98 Mohammeds and people from Egypt and all of these things, because you guys don't just like take the time to learn how to use a new tool, okay? So I love you, but let's be smart and let's take some time to learn how to do stuff like before you dig in and then like complain that it doesn't work, okay? So that's what I would start with before you do anything else. Is go to the pro tips, go to how to use, how to optimize my STIM account, locations, don't perform manual actions. Like this talks about it, okay? So first, start there. With the targeted accounts, what you guys are thinking about is STIM Social is pulling from the people who are engaging with these targeted accounts, okay? So this is, I guess I don't need it sharing right now. Let me talk to you guys for a second. STIM Social is you're putting in a targeted account, quote unquote inspo account, okay? So hopefully you guys have a collection of inspo accounts that you're working from manually. This would be the same thing. This is who's going in there. So for instance, Tone It Up Girls are very solid target accounts. Mom bloggers, brands that are very women focused, female focused, other fitness people that are drawing in people who want to be inspired, who want to be motivated, who want help. that are your target. Like these are the targeted accounts. Okay. So I have some Tone It Up girls. I have some nutritionists. I have some cute mom bloggers. I have LDS moms. I have some minimalist pages. I have some home decor pages because I love like farmhouse decor. So this is like my jam, my type of people. And what you're thinking about is your target market, whoever you want to work with, is gathering on these inspo accounts. So this is where you're just able to find a lot of people in one place. So I always tell my people, you want to cast a net. You don't want to throw a fishing pole out. Okay. So you're not trying to find like the one perfect person with STIM Social. You're trying to cast this net of a big pool of solid people that can then come in, see what you're all about. You can connect with them and you can find your perfect people for your challenge groups and your coaching and stuff like that. But it's STIM Social's job just to find a plethora of people to bring in that are pretty solid. Okay. You're still going to get some, like, you're like, how did they even fit in through my filters? They're still going to get in, but for the most part, you should be able to target it so it's pretty dang solid. Okay. So that starts with your targeted accounts. I recommend having between 5 and whatever amount if they're very solid. And then, like I said, I take them off, I put them on, I take them off, I put them on. And when I say engagers, that's when you go to their Instagram, you want to make sure people are engaging with their page, because STIM Social is pulling from their likers and their commenters from what I've learned. So people who are engaging with their page, they should be your target market. So don't go to like some fitness girls page that has all of these Joe Schmo dudes that are like, oh my gosh, you're hot. Oh, you look so good. Because some of those fitness girls have like a ton of guy followers because they're hot. That's not going to be a good target account unless you want to target the guys that are drooling over this girl, which probably isn't your target. So you want to go to like whatever I was talking about, inspo accounts that have female markets. Like women are like, oh my gosh, I need help. Oh, you look so amazing. I'm inspired. Oh, how do you do this? And it's female focused. They want help, or maybe they're on a fitness journey as well and they're supporting each other and whatever. So that's the type of target accounts you want. Okay. This is going to make or break your STIM Social. If you have crappy target accounts, you're going to bring in crappy people. Okay. So start there with at least 5 really solid ones. Then move on to hashtags. And like you just heard on where it said hashtag tips 1 to 5, I actually have like 10 on there because most of mine are Tone It Up hashtags, because I like to target fitness focused people who are already on a journey, who are already caring about how they feel and maybe just want an extra step of help, an extra whatever. And they're like perfect coaches because they're already doing what we're doing. So I have like 6 or 7 Tone It Up hashtags. And then I have a photography focused hashtag that is very female focused because I was a photographer before, so I can connect with those people. And then I have a couple fitness attire hashtags because they're female focused and fitness people. So, and then I have 1 mom hashtag. So just the hashtags you just only need a couple, but they have to be super targeted, you guys. Like you want them to be very focused on if women are your target market. You don't want to just have it be like fitness in general, because that's going to be a lot of dudes too. You want it to be like for instance, when I use the Tone It Up ones, TIU mama, TIU, well, Tone It Up girls are girls in general. So that's why I really like it. But if you're using fitness ones, it would be like fit mom squad or fit mom blah, blah, like very female fitness focused. Does that make sense? Same with like, you don't just want to do like healthy eating, because lots of people eat healthy all over the world. So you're going to start to attract all of these people from all over the world, which is cool if you get a whole new bunch of followers, but not that cool because you can't help anyone unless they're in the US, Canada, or the UK. So you just have to be very specific and smart when you're thinking about these hashtags and who they're going to and who they're attracting. Got it? Okay. Those are the two most important aspects of setting up STIM Social, your target accounts and your hashtags. Moving on to the settings, this is where I'm going to screen share, and you guys can tweak these, but I'm just going to share what I did, not that, so that you guys can at least have a baseline to start with, okay? So speed. I like it following and unfollowing at the extreme level. So I have extreme, follow limit, automatically switch to unfollow when your account is following this many accounts. So basically, you want to try and keep the amount of people you're following, you want to try and keep that lower than the amount of followers you have. But if you're starting fresh, it's going to be out of balance for a little while. You're going to be following more people than you have followers. But at some point, you need to make the shift. It will shift. And then you can set this amount. Like once it gets to 4,000 people, once I'm following 4,000 people, I want STIM Social to then switch over to unfollow a bunch of people so that that number doesn't get all skewed. Okay, so that's what that is. Set your limit to however many, but you need to keep it pretty high because when you follow people, that's what brings people back to follow you more than any other action on Instagram. Okay, follow private accounts. I like to follow private accounts because lots of my target market are moms and they have private accounts. So I say yes for this one. Gender, female, has a profile picture. I click yes because lots of the spammy weirdos don't have profile pictures, so I just want to weed them out from this. Only business accounts? Absolutely not. No. Post limits. So this is just saying limit how many posts an account can have for you to interact with them. So when STIM Social interacts with people, it is liking their pictures or it's following them. That's the only two things that it does, or it sends them a DM if you have the pro account. So basically, when you're setting up your limits, you're just thinking, okay, how do I weed out the people who are fake, the people who are spammy, the people who are just throwing trash on their feed, whatever. Like, how do I get the solid people? So I want them to at least have 30 posts. So they're not just like someone who made an account and then just like stalk everyone. I want them to be active on social media. I want them to be like actively posting and engaging. So minimum of 30 posts, but I don't necessarily want people who are just like throwing crap out there. So I limit it to about 2,000. This does, and so I might go in and change this at some point because this does limit like someone who's just very solid on Instagram. It does limit that, so that's kind of give or take, but I just feel like that's a safe place for me right now. So I have 2,000. Following limits. Limit how many people an account is following for you to interact with them. So I don't want people who are just following all the people because then they're not even going to see my stuff. So I limit it. I do 300 because I want them to at least be active on social media once again. And then max following 1,500 because I legitimately follow, like right now I'm following like 4,000. That's legit. Like I have a hard time finding people to unfollow because I want to be following that many people because I've spent 5 years finding intentional people that I want to see in my feed. So if someone's following 1,500, they can still be a solid person. So that's why I set it at that. Follower limits. Limit how many followers an account can have for you to interact with them. So just like I said, at least 300, I feel like is a safe spot. They at least are like a regular human that has people following them. You could lower this if you want, but I just don't want to I don't want it to interact with just anyone. So I have 300 and then max followers 30,000 because I do want to engage with some bigger accounts, but not like ginormous accounts that are just, I don't know, I just will never be like, they'll never be my target. So that's what I set it to that. So you can set it to whatever you want, but that's the idea behind it. Unfollow speed extreme. I want it to unfollow fast so that it can keep the numbers going. And I have it set to source. Who should STIM be allowed to unfollow? I only allow STIM to unfollow who they followed. So the thing with this and the thing that some people struggle with is they're like, well, then STIM Social unfollows my good people that I've been like talking with and then I feel weird. Yes, that happens. But a loophole behind that is if you find a solid person, manually, like say STIM found a solid person. They started following them. You started chatting with them and you're like, oh, they're sweet. Manually unfollow them and then follow them again so that you are now the source of follow and then STIM can't unfollow them. Okay. If it does happen that STIM unfollows a solid person, you go to their account, you can't talk to them anymore, because they're private, or you realize that you unfollow them and you're like, oh shoot, now I feel weird. I just say, so sorry, my kids play with my phone. I don't know how that happened, but we're friends again, or whatever. Like, just make a funny out of it. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, limit. So the whitelist. This is automatically switched to follow when your account is following this many accounts. So the whitelist is your account of people you do not want STIM to ever unfollow. So like if you have a really solid base of people, you can add them to your whitelist so that STIM can't ever touch them. Like I tried to add family and solid accounts, but I don't really spend time updating my whitelist because it takes time and it's a pain. So I just do the unfollow follow thing. Engagement, we're almost done. Engagement speed, I want it to like a ton of people because obviously the more STIM is doing, the more it brings it back to your page. I let STIM interact with anyone because I don't care if it's liking my normal people stuff. That's just letting them know I'm showing up and supporting them. And then like limits. So limit how many likes a post can have for you to interact with it. I did minimum 10 because I want them to at least be a normal something or other, not just some weirdo. And then max likes, I did 1,200 because I don't necessarily, if you like a post with 8,000 likes, you're not going to be seen. But there's legit people who get 1,000 likes on every single post that are still very target market. And so I just put 1,200 for now. So that's the reasoning behind that. Sleep. Do you want STIM to sleep? Yes. So you want STIM. So what happens is if you're working on Instagram and STIM is also working on Instagram, it can be doing too much activity and Instagram will block you and you can't do your stuff for a while. Okay. So you want STIM Social to sleep when you're working, your busiest time. So I have STIM Social sleeping between 7 and so I work. Like I wake up at like 5, so anywhere between 5 and 1, like those are my busiest business hours for Instagram because that's when I'm working. But I also have an Instagram helper that does stuff around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, around 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So I need to extend that. I just barely changed this today. Generally she's done by 3, but so I'm going to have it sleeping when I'm working and when she's working. And then as soon as that's done, STIM can work for all the rest of the time. And it can work forever, okay? So that's the general settings. And you want to make sure that you set these because that's going to help limit who it's engaging with and what it's doing. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about is the follower DM. So this is what's allowed when you have the pro account. When you get a new follower, it automatically sends them a direct message. This is a planted seed, a way to connect, a way to start the relationship, a way to warm it up. I did 3 different ones just so that there's some variety. I can see which is working better. I can see which one I like better, what starts better in conversations, and then I can narrow it down to 1 or whatever. But having 3 different ones helps because when STIM is sending out all of these DMs, if it's the same exact message every single time, you're going to be more likely to get blocked. So this is just increasing the odds of keeping in compliance with Instagram and not sending out a copy paste message because that's when it'll block your account and make you take a break for a while. So I highly recommend having a few different ones. It's basically just a planted seed. It can be whatever you want. I just kind of introduce myself, let them know I'm excited to get to know them, excited to see their stuff in my feed. And in one of them, I'm like, P.S. I also choose a handful of ladies to work with each month in my virtual gym. If you ever need extra support, let me know. Don't hesitate to reach out. So I have a P.S. in one that actually generates a lot of conversations right off the bat instead of like down the road. So I do like that. And the other 2, I don't. They're just kind of like a getting to know you excited post. So you can do whatever there, but I highly recommend the $40 version so you can send this DM because it makes the world of a difference, you guys. Because the more that you guys talk in DM, the more they'll see your stuff, they'll see your feed, they'll see your posts. So the more interacting you can do, the better. So that's the DM stuff. And then I also have it sending only between, I don't know why it says this and this. It stops sending at 10 o'clock. So my, it usually should say, I don't know where it's at. Direct messages. Oh, no, that's not it. These are all the people that it's direct message. When I was helping my sister-in-law set hers up, hers says when to send it. I don't know, mine's funky. When to send the DM. I don't have it. I have it stopping at 10 o'clock p.m. because I don't want new followers to think I'm working at like 3 a.m. That's weird. So I have it sending in like normal awake hours. So hopefully that helps you guys. But I can't stress enough. Like STIM is a resource. It's not like 100%. It's not going to bring in all of your perfect people. It's going to bring in a lot of really quality people if you set it up correctly. And then it's up to you to then take the next step to actually cultivate the relationship. That's why I love the DM, because it starts the process and then I can connect with them from there. I have a process where it brings in, so STIM is bringing in people, it shoots them a DM when they follow me back. Immediately, every single day as part of my power hour, I go through my DMs, I see who it sent it out. Even if they don't respond, if they are a solid person that I want to connect with, I immediately go to their page, like and comment on a couple of their things, and add them to a collection. If you guys have seen any of my trainings, you'll know that collections are a part of how I place my next people that I'm going to invite. So I put them in my next month's challenge prospect collection, next month's coach prospect collection, so that I can be intentional about cultivating that relationship and then being able to have them all in one place to invite. So STIM brings them in, you build a relationship, you sort them where they can go, you continue to build, you continue to connect, you invite them, you follow up, you help them rock their journey. That is the process. And if you're using STIM correctly, it should work for you. So spend your homework time finding some very solid target accounts. And this is something that, like I said, you're constantly adding to, taking off, tweaking, and some very specific target hashtags. The fewer, the better. If in doubt, don't put it on there. If in doubt, do not put the hashtag on there unless it's very solid. It doesn't go on there. Rely on your target market, or rely on your targeted accounts to do the majority of the work. So those need to be very solid. Okay. Hope this helps. See you guys.